Meanwhile, in Argentina, dramatic video. Take a look at this. So that is an incident that happened in Merlo, Argentina, due to a technical malfunction in the car. And you might be wondering, wait, why are you showing this to us? Because I desperately look for good news. And you might think, well, wait, how could that possibly be good news? No, it is, because the driver's wife and 3 children who were inside the vehicle when it was hit were taken to a hospital, reportedly suffering only minor injuries. Despite being hit by a train, him being thrown to the side, they survived. Minor injuries. That is a miracle. And by the way, they didn't intentionally stop on the tracks. There was some sort of problem where the car stalled. But like when I first saw that, I thought, oh my God, I just watched people die. No, they actually made it through, and that is amazing. In this time, yes, of terrible news, something good actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I thought of was that, what is it, the Pearl Jam song about the girl? I heard that song when I was a kid about the car stopping on the tracks and the train comes, and I was like, why is this a song that's popular? But at least in this case, the ending is a lot better than the Pearl Jam song. So that is something to be celebrated. Yeah.
Yes, and credit to Pearl Jam for predicting this so many years ago. But meanwhile, Meanwhile, in the UK, it is time to get serious, because we know that many countries are involved in refugee resettlement for refugees coming out of Ukraine. But there are concerns specifically about predatory men trying to get single women or women with children to live with them for other purposes than just charity. And right now, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is saying that there needs to be an appropriate matching process to avoid this, to make sure that women and children are matched with families or couples. This suggestion follows reports that Ukrainian refugees, predominantly women, were at risk of sexual exploitation. In fact, a journalist just in the last week posed as a 22-year-old Ukrainian woman from Kyiv, found that within minutes of posting a message on a Facebook group for hosts in the UK, she was inundated with inappropriate messages. Some men lied about having several bedrooms in their 1-bed homes, while another proposed sharing a bed, writing, "I have a large bed, we could sleep together." Another sent a voice note that said, "I am ready to help you, and maybe you can help me also." This is so wildly unacceptable, to try to use people who are afraid of being shot or bombed to put them in a position where you can feel power over them and potentially sexually exploit them. Yaz, there definitely needs to be oversight in this area.
I mean, this is like what we were talking about earlier, is that people suck across the board. There's always gonna be these people who are just terrible and there to take advantage of a really, really actually terrible situation. And it's kind of like the foster care system here, people presumably are there to help children in need, but how many of those children don't get the help that they need, and in turn they get something much worse than maybe what they left. So it's very sad to see. There does need to be some oversight, but how do you really manage something like that,
Exactly. I mean, they're, like they said, they're going to try to focus on getting them to stay with couples or families. They need to vet. Not obviously the refugees are vetted always, but the families that are doing the placement, these are people that are already being exploited. They're worried about being killed. There are also many reports of rapes by Russian soldiers as well. To then add on an extra layer of exploitation, that is just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, and just to clarify too, there are ways to get around things like this and to help the issue. But the fact is, we're running up against a timeline, right? There's so many of these refugees coming out of Ukraine. The situation in Ukraine isn't getting better. So how quickly can these social workers or anybody who's helping to aid the refugee crisis, how quickly can they actually work, and how many people can they protect in the process?
Exactly. Now we have time for one more very quick comment. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, coming out of France, perhaps among the big election news of the week is that Emmanuel Macron is going to be going up against Marine Le Pen in a runoff in France. And Yaz, I just wanted to get your thoughts about this. We have a bit of time. I think it's April 24th is going to be the final vote. What do you make of this?
Well, I know that a lot of people haven't been super thrilled with Macron since he's been in office. He's been kind of a disappointment to the people who voted for him. But Le Pen, she is very authoritarian. She's very sympathetic to Putin. If she is elected president, that would have very large implications across the board, across the globe right now. Everything going on with Russia, Ukraine, and then with the NATO countries and the US, all of us. What's going on in France is something that everybody needs to be paying attention to. And also, it speaks to the bigger issue of the fact that all these authoritarian leaders are gaining traction amongst voters, right? I don't know if it's the propaganda that can be blamed. I don't know if it's general dissatisfaction with the way things are currently. Could be a lot of different factors for why this is happening, but either way, the end result isn't going to be good. So it is one to watch.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.